Well, we're here in Dayton, Washington. We're at the Chief Springs Fire and Iron Brew Pub. Nice little town, Dayton, and we had dinner here last night. Really enjoyed the food and the conversation. So we're looking forward to talking to Ann and Mike Springs. And first question I had for you is, how'd you come up? What's the history, and how'd you come up with the name Chief Springs Fire and Iron Brew Pub?
Well, I was a fire chief, probably 20 some years of my career, and so the Chief Springs part came pretty easy, and all my firefighter friends always call me chief. So, as a fire chief, I was accused of being too entrepreneurial with the fire department, trying to stretch the taxpayer dollars and to make money for the fire department through going on state fires, and we ran a cabulance in a little volunteer department that made some people some money so they'd be hanging around the station more.
So you were like a maverick chief.
Yeah, I was, and some of my city council people didn't appreciate it.
Yeah.
And yet I was trying to save taxpayer dollars.
How did you end up from being a fire chief deciding that you were going to get into the pub business?
Well, the reason behind it was I always had this romantic dream of standing behind the bar, serving people, and I like people. And people's what we do here is our motto is the only thing we serve is customer service.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
So we want people to come here and enjoy great beer, good food, and old friends.
That's great. Yeah, and I understand you actually brew the beer here.
Yeah. The brewery's right in the basement here.
Right in the basement.
What every beer has in it is a base grain. Is grown right here on the Poluse between us and Spokane somewhere. But it's really high quality grain. We know it's been grown by our neighbor farmers. We also use local wheat. We brew an apple ale, and we have a orchard right up.
So
So we get fresh apple juice, and the very next day he squeezes it, and we brew it the next day.
Oh, cool.
So it's only on tap in the fall when the apples are being harvested.
Yep.
The pike bowl honey, our honey's right off the mountain here. It's a thistle honey.
Oh, okay.
But it makes a great beer.
Yep.
And we try not to overpower it. It's not sweet yucky. It's still an ale.
It's a good beer. Usually when you're in business like this, there comes a time when you're not sure it's all going to work, and you have to have a heart-to-heart talk around the kitchen table. I'm wondering if that happened, and when it happened, what was that talk like, especially for you?
Well, to be honest, we've had a number of those talks, and not closing was never an option. It still isn't an option. It's like, how do we continue on with the resources that we have?
What are we going to do today? How are we going to change to meet the challenge? But I think that's the heart of any entrepreneur, is not giving up. We have spent way too many hours here. We paid for COVID out of our own flesh, blood, sweat this last year. We think we can see the end. If everybody will get vaccinated, we know we'll see the end.
Yeah.
Well, and Steve, on the flip side of that, the community supports us.
Oh, unbelievable.
Just last year when the pub had to be closed and they were just getting food out of the pizzeria, people that don't normally go out or people that would go out maybe once a month, they made a commitment to go to the different restaurants at least once a week and supported the businesses, support us. It's very heartwarming.
So what makes her such a good business partner?
She's a sounding board. She's a rock. She's here probably more hours than I am. She is 150% invested in making sure we succeed, even at her own detriment a lot of times. So she gives more than she should.
So that's another point you're making, is that if you're going to be an entrepreneur and strike out on your own, you have to have that family support, or it's very difficult to make it, because it's emotional and it's physical.
Totally, yeah.
So you got a wonderful pub here. So folks, if you're coming through the area, be sure you stop at Chief Springs Fire and Irons Brew Pub and meet Ann and Mike and enjoy some good local home brewed brew. and some good food and good
Absolutely.
company in a good community. Thanks very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.